Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome now the first two schools. Lay Secondary School. Participants are Christopher Miviri, Robert Irie, Ruben Tangabi, and Daphne Anget. Please make welcome the Lay Secondary School. The Bugendi, they're up against the Bugendi team, which are Linda Asai, Stephen Philip, Maino Maika, and Moana Nahuet. Please make welcome Bugendi Secondary School. Their topic of debate is LNG project is the driver for PNG Vision 2050. Okay, without further ado, I'd like to call upon the first speaker of the affirmative team.
Thank you, MC. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. As you all know, our debate topic is that the LNG project is the driver for the Vision 2050. Okay, I would first and foremost define the topic. I would define the keywords of the topic. I would then proceed on to outlining the debate, how our debate will be set out, and then I would present my arguments and conclude with recommendations, valid recommendations, and I would hand it over to the opposition. Okay, now, the topic states that LNG project is the driver for the PNG Vision 2050. Now, the LNG project simply refers to the Papua New Guinea liquefied natural gas projects. Now, this project is a multi-billion kina gas project, which is spearheaded by the foreign investors, or we all know as ExxonMobil, with the incorporation of other foreign investors, together with the collaboration of the government. Okay, as I've stated, it is a joint venture between the government through its subsidiaries, EDA Oil and MRDC, and foreign investors such as ExxonMobil and Neptune Limited. Okay, coming to drivers, to the word driver. Now, the driver is a component, it is a factor that facilitates, or it makes it possible for the development and the progress of a group of people or a cause towards achieving a goal. The Vision 2050, which is the goal that we are driving towards, is a strategic plan or a strategic guideline to address the low social and economic indicators which we see in PNG. For example, we see the deteriorating road system. The road system that hinders development development from the urban centers to the rural centers. Now, the Vision 2050 attempts to decide on a destination for PNG to fulfill the vision and mission of the Vision 2050 of PNG, which states that by 2050, PNG will become a wise, fair, healthy, happy society. Okay, the Vision 2050 is a people's vision. It is by you and I, the people, for the people. Okay, proceeding on to the outline of our arguments. As the first speaker, I will talking about the wealth aspect of this LNG project as the driver for the PNG Vision 2050. Now, my second counterpart will be talking about job creations and standard of living. The third speaker will be talking about investors and development. And the final speaker will reaffirm the topic, conclude, and sum up. Now, proceeding on with my arguments. Well, the first argument I said is wealth. Obviously, the LNG project is going to generate a lot of income which will benefit the government. In saying that, we can see that revenue increases, the money supply increases, income as a matter of result also increases. Consumption and spending also increases, increasing supply, productive resources, employment, and as a result, employment also increases, and the cycle continues. To sum up, picture this. If before a driver starts a car, he has to decide on his destination. After deciding destination, he has to have the ample fuel to make the journey. In saying that, this example states that the driver, which is you and I, the car, which is our country, the destination we want to go is set out in the Vision 2050. And the fuel that is needed is the LNG project. To conclude, to attain the Vision 2050, the LNG project is a major player in the plan and vision. Therefore, in order for development, the LNG project is a major driver for the PNG Vision 2050.
Thank you, first speaker of the affirmative team. Now I'd like to call upon the first speaker of the opposition.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Good afternoon, teachers and students. Teachers and students of various schools in Lake City, the audience, the judges, the timekeepers, and my fellow debaters. Firstly, I will introduce the topic, give the definition, and I will stress on my point. I'll give the introduction of my speakers, and I will stress on my point. Our topic is about LNG project, the driver for Papua New Guinea Vision 2050. What is Vision 2050? Vision 2050 simply means that by 2050, Papua New Guinea will become a smart, wise, a fair, a healthy, and a happy society. We as the opposition, we strongly believe that LNG project is not the only driver for Papua. Sorry, LNG project. It's not the only driver for Papua New Guinea to achieve that Vision 2050. Only in Tokpisin, should I say, us. Only in Tokpisin, it means that, emta sola, igatol nar plato emulstab. So there are other sectors which can help Papua New Guinea realizing Vision 2050. Firstly, I would like to introduce my speakers. I, as the first speaker of the opposition, I will talk about other mining industries. My second speaker will emphasize on non-mining industries. Other mining industries and non-mining industries, they can work together and combine and help us to achieve that Vision 2050. The third speaker will emphasize on human resource and economic. Human resource, we can export our people or develop our people. Then the fourth speaker will emphasize on leadership, governance, and accountability. In leadership, how can LNG be the driver of Papua New Guinea Vision 2050 when there is lack in honest leadership in an accountability institution in our country nowadays, as you can see. Before I stress on my points, I would like to rebut on a point stressed here. The LNG project can create job opportunities. Well, the other sectors, they can also create job opportunities create employment and job opportunities in our country. Now I'll go through my point. For my point, we have accumulative effective. These other mining industries, such as the existing mines, we have Moraba mining and Hidden Valley gold mine, the Tulukuma gold mine, we have gas projects, copper mines. These other sectors, they can also help us realizing that Vision 2050. So these other factors, if we combine them, accumulative effectiveness, the combination of all the others, all the income of these sectors, they can help and drive the Vision 2050. They can help work together with LNG and achieve the Vision 2050. We have employment. There are direct employment and indirect employment. We have business opportunities. In business opportunities, example, these other sectors, they can create business opportunities. For example, spin-off business. They can bring contractors such as LBC contractors to go out there and work in these mines, the existing mines. Or we have, for example, a farmer. A farmer can have a contract with these mining industries, and they can help that farmer the farmer can produce the goods, and they can help and work together. So when this occurred, they can help and achieve this Vision 2050. To summarize, we as the opposition, we strongly believe that LNG is not the only driver for Papua New Guinea, only driver to achieve Papua New Guinea Vision 2050. There are other sectors. We are saying that LNG is not the only driver, but it can combine with the other sectors to achieve Vision 2050. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the first speaker of the opposition side. Now I'd like to call upon the second speaker of Lay Secondary School, affirmative team.
Good afternoon, Chair Lady, ladies and gentlemen, and Papua New Guinea. Firstly, I would like to debate on the opposition. They have stated by driver, we mean the main way. Well, that doesn't mean that we put aside other drivers, such as agriculture and so forth, etc. Well, by driver, we mean the main way how we can achieve Vision 2050. Now, to achieve Vision 2050, we don't mean thousands, but we mean billions. Basically, the LNG is the most suitable driver to achieve such a vision. Now, in order to achieve such a vision, we need money. When I say money, I mean we need a lot of money. To become a smart, fair, wise, happy and healthier society. Now this leads me to my point, job creation and standard of living. We have a lot of problems associated with unemployment. Now, as you all young leaders of tomorrow, students, well, we know that we have sleepless nights studying, and as we come to the final stage in our education system, tertiary institutions, and we go out to the world and we find that there are no jobs available for us. And then we burden our parents. Now to our economy. And we all know that this LNG project can boost, or let me say, expand our economy. This also affects commercial banks such as BSP, ANZ, Maybank, companies, industrial companies, franchise, etc. This results in the increase in income. Now, the increase in income, when there is an increase in income, there is an increase in the aggregated demand, known as consumption. Now, when there is an increase in consumption, there is an increase in production to cater for that increase in consumption. Now, when there is an increase in production, there have to be an increase in employment, and this caters for job creation. The standard of living. The standard of living, the human index, consists of 3 dimensions. And one of those is decent standard living. Now, to measure decent standard living or living standard, it is measured by purchasing power, parity, and income. Here are some factors that can influence the standard of living. Firstly, income, as I have said, infrastructure, basic, or should I say proper health services, and education. Now to income. By 2020, our GDP per capita would be 2,420 toya. Now that's a lot of money, isn't it? Secondly, infrastructure. Better road services to link rural people to the urban areas. And we can start off rural people by earning an income by providing them proper infrastructure like aid posts, health services, roads. And I mentioned health services. Now, many aid posts, or should I say, hospitals, general hospitals in Papua New Guinea don't have the instruments that other hospitals around the world has. Now, this LNG project can help our health services, or to help our hospitals to provide such materials needed for patients. Lastly, education. Now, education provides more successful leaders, skilled and knowledgeable people. It is my recommendation that we should be more supportive and think positive about our vision. Because if we want to change, thinking negative, how could we change if we are crying for a change? Thank you.
Thank you. Second speaker of Lay Secondary. Now I'd like to call upon the second speaker of Bugandi, going against.
Thank you, Chair Lady, the adjudicators, and not forgetting the good Papua New Guinean citizens, the audiences, and the acting governments. On the point of view, LNG project is the driver for PNG Vision 2050. My point of view is about non-mining industries. Non-mining industries are other factors that can help realizing Vision 2050. Vision 2050 simply means PNG's aim is to be wise, fair, healthy, and a happy society by 2050. Those words sound interesting to you all Papua New Guineans. It is not the only driver for PNG Vision 2050. There are other factors that can realize to contribute to Vision 2050. And by 2050, those factors will make hell a lot of money to our country's economy. Let us not get ourselves into our own boot, if I have stated clear then. LNG project is not only the driver for PNG Vision 2050. Our governments must not cover the effort of our human resources and boost up other coming projects. The example of non-mining industries are fisheries, logging, agriculture, tourism. These are the things that can contribute to realizing of Vision 2050. Example of the non-mining industry example, give example of fisheries. Fisheries, they are catching 600,000 hectares of fish in our seas. And these fish are some for humans to consume and some for and some are used to process in some there are some other factors like non-mining industries, agriculture, logging, fisheries, tourism, science and technology. These things can contribute realizing Vision 2050. I have a letter stating on news article about on June 7, 2010 about John Ogio stressing about Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology, Michael Ogio said, science and technology is an answer to actually Vision 2050, and it is not LNG alone. And LNG, I want to rebut on the first speaker said that LNG is contributing multi-million kina it will contribute multi-million kina to our country. And what about these non-mining industries? Are they contributing something, or are they just staying for the sake of staying there? And they say LNG is the only driver. It is not only the driver. And they say that our country needs a lot of money to boost our economy. Those lot of our monies are contributing conflict on the LNG provinces out there. Thank you.
Thank you. Second speaker of Bugendi Secondary School. Now I'd like to call upon the third speaker of Lay Secondary, going for the topic.
Thank you, Chair Lady. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon, students. Firstly, I would like to rebut on he said the opposition side said that LNG is not I would like to reaffirm that LNG is the main driver to achieving Vision 2050. Because we are living in a country that our economy is dominated by mining and energy sectors. And it's not dominated by agriculture, forestry, logging, what do you call it? It's not dominated by that. It's dominated by mining and energy sectors. And mind you, LNG will be making billions. We're talking billions here, not millions. And this will be the driving force behind us achieving Vision 2050. Our country is blessed with abundance of resources, but we don't have the resources or equipment necessary to extract these resources that we have. For example, for instance, the oil in LNG that we are talking about now. Our country government doesn't have the resources to extract the oil from the earth. That's why the government is turning to the investors so that they can invest in our country. Global investors do acknowledge the fact that we are naturally rich in resources, and have huge interest and have huge research in our interest in our country. With LNG, a multi-billion Kina project, which will be the main supplier of liquefied natural gas in South Asia Pacific region, this has attracted and drawn interest from investors all around the world. Okay, I would like to just give a brief background on the investors that we know, commonly the ExxonMobil. Well, ExxonMobil is the American-based company which is the largest non-government marketer of equity natural gas. It sells 11 billion cubic feet of oil and natural gas a day to consumers in more than 25 countries. The company has upstream operations in more than 40 countries with 59 major projects, including PNG currently under development or in various stages of planning and execution. This is a company with long-standing reputation for discipline, consistency in its project execution. Other participating interest in the LNG project are Oil Sets, Santos, and Nippon Oil. Going through the backgrounds of these companies gives us some idea on who is developing our gas, and that guarantees us that our resource is in the hands of qualified, capable companies that will deliver services. Once production begins, the economy booms. There will be cash flows in our society. This will create great opportunities for business and will encourage business investors to invest. Again, investors, they don't just unnecessary invest. They invest when they know that they're going to get something out of it. They invest when they know they're going to get something. They don't just unnecessarily invest. And with the companies like ExxonMobil that is worldly recognized, this shows that our country has something good about it. And these developers are saying, Papua New Guinea, the way forward for you is the way forward for you to achieve Vision 2050 is through LNG. Developments brought by investors. Just a few examples. We have a road system, the Highlands Highway. With LNG, the road system will be improved, it will be developed, and it will link provisions along the highway. And this will make goods and services to be brought down, which are produced up at the islands, down to be sold. And this will add to our economy. You see, that's what LNG is doing. It's improving infrastructures. Another infrastructure will be the wharf, the main wharf. There are plans to develop the main wharfs, especially the one in Leh, which will be the largest port in the country. You see, so with the LNG, because of LNG, these plans are coming about. Without LNG, we won't have such plans for development. And to conclude, to finish off, we, the government side, strongly believes that the LNG project is the major drive or the way forward to achieving Vision 2050.
Thank you. Third speaker of the affirmative side. Now I'd like to call upon the third speaker of the opposition, Burgundy Secondary.
Thank you, Chair. Lady.
Good afternoon, the judges, the timekeepers, the teachers, the supporters, and finally, the opponents. I have, as the test speaker, on the negative side, I'd like to stress on the human resource. But first of all, I would like to rebut against on some of the points mentioned by the affirmative side. They've said there is the industrial increases, it leads the large income in the country. But before this one, what must be the, if we were to say that there is other industries which can generate income, but I think we still must have something else before this one, and that is the human resource. Is that true? Before anything comes else, the human resource must be there. Before anything else, a car cannot be run on its own if there is not a driver in that one. A car can move its own? Yes? Yes. It cannot. No, it cannot be no. The important thing I would like to stress here is that we have the human resources here which can generate incomes also. We also export the human resource to other countries. Example, we have the people working in other countries like Australia and some others as well. And back to my points, I'd like to say that on education, when we talk about education, there are some of the things that we don't have to, that we have to look at. Education is very important now. So in order to achieve Vision 2050 through education, we have to produce many human resources, such as the doctors and so forth, in order to, and then make them equipped with some of the materials, so that when they are getting sick like that, then we can be able to go to them, as they are well trained through education. And that's all I'd like to say.
Thank you, third speaker of Bugandi Secondary School. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the IBS School Debate Competition for lay schools. The two schools currently debating are Lay Secondary School and Bugandi Secondary School. The topic of discussion is LNG project is the driver for PNG Vision 2050. Lay Secondary School is going for the topic and Bugandi is going against the topic. Now I'd like to call upon the final speaker of Lay Secondary School.
Chair Lady, ladies and gentlemen, LNG, it is the driver for PNG Vision 2050. As the final speaker, I am going to reaffirm and substantiate on what has been mentioned by my fellow team members. But first, I would like to make a few criticisms on what the opposition side has said. Okay, to start it off, let me say, for all developments to take place, we need what? Money. We need money for this vision to occur. People, get this right. We need money for this vision to occur. If you people say that LNG is not the driver, then who's the driver? You people are the driver. Okay. The opposition side that Vision 2050 is a smart, wise, healthy, and happy society. Okay. And how can we be smart, wise, and healthy when we don't have the money? And I think from what I got, they are all going back to their other drivers. Okay, we have been and are still using the other drivers for the last 50 years. Agriculture, fisheries, and all those, they have been there for the last 50 years. How much change have you seen? Has anyone seen any changes? No. Well, it's time for a change, and we need something new. Okay, they talked about job opportunities. We're all school students. Okay, see, we have like only 5 universities with the current number of students we have in, the grade 12 students we have in schools today. After grade 12, they're out on the streets. They cannot find spaces in those institutions because we only have 3,000 to 5,000 spaces. See, they're on the streets causing corruption and other illegal activities that this LNG project, when they come in, they will increase job employment so that we will avoid such. You talk about other mines, copper mines and all those mining and whatever. You take Panguna, for example. It has been there. It is now closed. What has it given us? What has it given us? Nothing. How much has it driven Papua New Guinea? We are talking about what is yet to come and not what has gone. To make it clear to you all, the Vision 2050 came about only and because of the LNG project. As I have said, the last 50 years we have been using this agriculture and fisheries and all those. Nothing much has changed. And Vision 2050 was made after the exploration of the LNG project. Experts have proven that, if you guys don't know. It's like a budget. A budget, they know that this project would generate a lot of income. When I'm talking about a lot, as one of my fellow members have said, a lot, we are talking about billions, not millions, not lousy thousands. So that is why the country came up with a vision to cater for the money so that we'll avoid corruption, mismanagement, misuse, and all those. That's what the Vision 2050, that's why it came about. And in other words, the LNG, it outweighs, and I repeat, it outweighs the other drivers as they are talking about, because we are talking about billions here. The second speaker of the opposition side, or I'll say just the opposition side, they mentioned something about non-mining industries and all those. What else? Just the other drivers you are talking about. As I have said, it's been past 50 years and we need something new. I think the talk of tourism and all those, we're just wasting our time. How much has tourism benefited us for the last how many years? We have been using fisheries and agriculture and all those, and it has not benefited much. So come on, Papua New Guinea, we are talking about something to move us forward and to make a change for our country. Don't you people want change? See, that's what we call, if you guys were present yesterday, that's the Melanesian way. No wonder we are not moving forward. Human resource. We talk about human resource, and there's a car. You said a car cannot move unless there is a driver. But we are fools. A car cannot move on its own. Even when the driver is in there, the car cannot move. Has anyone tried that? We cannot move when there is no fuel. When there is no fuel in the car cannot move. And fuel comes from money. Unless and until you have the money to buy fuel, then your car will run. In case the last speaker of the opposition side talk on destroying the environment, I'd say for every development, there is always a negative and a positive side of it. The LNG has well prepared itself for that. It has come up with plans to help facilitate the impacts it has on the environment. For example, minimizing the clearing of vegetation, maintenance of critical drainage, and erosion control. According to an article in the Post-Korea dated Wednesday, February 10, 2010, it says, and listen carefully, the good news is that LNG is a long-term resource with less direct environmental impact than oil and other fuels. Talking of inflation, in case they talk about that, inflation, there's nothing wrong in inflation because we have ways to help minimize the problems that we're gonna face. The government can increase the tax on luxury goods and decrease the sales tax on basic goods and services. For example, increase tax on washing machine and decrease tax on rice so that everyone will live a comfortable life, can also afford that. The government will still receive revenues, but it will decrease the tax burden on low-income earners. Already, as we will see, the government will receive taxes from both, and this money can be used by the government to help decrease inflation as the government already have policies in place that curb it. Inflation also is good because when there is high rate of inflation, it will result in a fall in unemployment. In other words, an increase in employment. Isn't that what we want? Yes. In case you think I got there from the blues, this is according to the Keynesian theory of economics. Finally, but not the least, let me sum up with supporting what my fellow members have said. LNG is the driver for PNG 2050, as it will definitely increase our economic growth. We will live wealthy lives. Let's say it will expand our economy. And it will also increase job employment for us all. It will also increase our standard of living, and investors will want to come in, and development will definitely take place. In summary, since 1975, when we have gained our independence, we never really had a chance to develop or progress due to lack of funds, maybe through corruption or misappropriation. That all comes through corruption. We don't really know. We have been borrowing funds since then, and with the LNG coming in, it would definitely, and definitely, I mean definitely, be a driver for Vision 2050. As LNG itself, as I had said, is not 1,000 million, but it's a billion project. But to make this happen, we all need to work together to achieve this. We have to support each other, avoid corruption, and that is misuse and misappropriation of money. It goes for all of us. See, this is a whole thing. This thing is like a ladder. Vision 2050 is somewhere up there, and we are down there, and we need some kind of force to push us up there. And in science, they call it a catalyst. LNG is the catalyst that will drive us to achieve this. Hence, with all these points said, we are sure that the arguments we've said will convince you that the LNG is the driver for PNG Vision 2050. Thank you.
Thank you. Final speaker of Lay Secondary School. Now I'd like to call upon the final speaker of Bugendi Secondary School.
Thank you, MC. Thank you, adjudicators, the audience, the affirmative team, fellow debaters, and Papua New Guinea. Before I present what I have here, I will briefly outline the areas that I'll be emphasizing. Firstly, I will do a few rebuttals on the areas that the affirmative have stressed or have presented. Secondly, I will recap on what the first, second, and third speaker of the opposition have emphasized. From there, I will stress on my point, which is leadership and accountability institutions. And then I will summarize my point of emphasis and also the topic as a whole. Before I move on, I want to erase doubts and confusion among the crowd and come from the perspective that we, the opposition, are coming from. Firstly, I would like to rebut on what the speakers of the affirmative have presented. Firstly, there was a point mentioned that wealth in LNG can benefit the government. How can you be sure that the government is going to bring you adequate services when there is a high level of corruption in this country? Yes. How can you be sure? There was also a point mentioned that the LNG project is going to improve health services. From the perspective as a student coming from an area up at Wau and Bulolo, it's called a mining town, but I haven't seen improvements. What is the guarantee that LNG is going to bring improvements in health services when I haven't seen nothing up there? I also acknowledge the fact of the background information of ExxonMobil, but unfortunately, your government is only a 19% shareholder of LNG project. How does that going to do with development? What is the guarantee? Papua New Guinea is only 19% shareholder, and when you are, according to my knowledge, if you are a shareholder who owns more shares, then you have more say when it comes to that project or that thing. But how can Papua New Guinea have a say in that LNG project when you are way under the 50% mark in owning that LNG? You didn't even own it. You might as well get crumbs from this project. And it's not the driver. The point here, the emphasis here is that LNG project is not the driver for PNG Vision 2050. And mind you, Vision 2050 is Papua New Guinea is supposed to be a smart, wise, fair, happy, and healthy society by 2050. And to sum up the rebuttals, coming from the perspective with the billions, coming from a biblical perspective, my Bible in 1 Timothy 3 verse 10 states that the love of money is the root of all evil. So you are telling me that you want evil to proceed in this nation, huh? You want LNG to bring money in here and then also increase law and order problems. That's what you're telling me. LNG is not the driver for PNG Vision 2050. LNG cannot make Papua New Guinea become smart. LNG cannot make Papua New Guinea become fair. LNG cannot make Papua New Guinea become healthy. LNG cannot make Papua New Guinea become happy. Thank you, audience. Thank you. Which brings me back to recap on what the first, second, and third speakers have stressed in relation to the topic, that we strongly believe that the LNG project is not the only driver for PNG Vision 2050. Allow me to stress again by reiterating what the first speaker has mentioned in PNG Vision 20. Let me bring it across to you again. By 2050, we are saying that PNG must become a fair, smart, wise, healthy, happy. But what is the guarantee that LNG is going to make us fair? What is the guarantee here? So we are simply saying that in order for Papua New Guinea to be a smart, wise, fair, healthy, and happy society, the LNG is not the only factor that can make Papua New Guinea realize that vision. It is a collaborative effort. As other speakers have mentioned, it's a collaborative effort. No man is an island. You need each other. You need what has happened. You need each other to make developments take place. So in relation to things like agriculture, non-mining industries, when it comes to agriculture, we are stressing agriculture here because when oil and gas and every other mining resource runs out, where will you go to? You will go back to the land. That's where you need agriculture. You will go back to the land. LNG project, it's a non-renewable resource. Eventually, that resource is going to drive out, and we need our land. We have to go back to the basics in order to see PNG Vision 2050, in order for Papua New Guinea to be a fair, to be a smart, wise, happy, healthy society. Say for instance, the initiative that the National Agricultural Research Institute is taking in providing awareness of the 2012 drought that is happening. Thank you. Let me bring your attention back. Yeah. So, in terms of agriculture, so when NARI is doing these life-saving researches, is NARI being smart and wise by doing these life-saving researches? Is NARI being fair by informing the public? And so you can see that LNG project is not the driver for achieving Vision 2050. In line with the third speaker, in the development of our human resource, it's also vital in realizing PNG Vision 2050. The LNG project is simply the latest in a long list of mining ventures that promised wealth and development for PNG, but instead ended up doing great damaging and benefiting only a few, I repeat, a few people. So what is the guarantee that the LNG project will drive PNG forward to achieving Vision 2050? This leads me to my point of emphasis, which is leadership. Leadership is one quality that can greatly help in realizing the Vision 2050. Today, many who gain positions, our leaders have access to money for themselves. They are ruining our nation. That is stealing, and it's wrong. Wise leadership, competent government, and better law and order are necessary for you to realize PNG Vision 2050, not just the LNG project. So as mentioned in Post-Korea, reported on April 21st, 2010, during the Catholic Bishop Conference here in Leh, which was specifically about the PNG Vision 2050, the bishop stated that our elected politicians at national and local, provincial levels, as well as traditional communities, they have a big task ahead of them. That is, we need our leaders. In order for Vision 20 to become a reality, we need our leaders to lead us, to be our representatives, to drive us forward in realizing Vision 2050. Not just a huge sum of money that will come and bring greed into our lives and bring law and order problems. We need to come back to the basics and understand the perspectives that we are coming from. You have to start from the basics. You cannot just pick a fruit. The roots have to be strong down there, and then it comes up to the stem, to the branches, to the leaves, and then it bears fruit. That indicates that honest and fair leadership is a vital factor to realizing Vision 2050. We need leaders to drive us to realize Vision 2050. So with the current status of the government in terms of leadership and accountability, how can the LNG project drive PNG to achieve Vision 2050 when there is a high level of corruption and white-collar crimes. So you are saying that more money is coming in and more corruption is going to take place. And what about you, Papua New Guineans? Becoming smart, wise, fair, healthy, and happy when these basic things need to be weeded out first before these huge sums of money come in and create more problems for you. So as you can see, I have emphasized here to give you a clear picture that we, the oppositions are coming from, that LNG is not the only driver in realizing PNG Vision 2050. PNG Vision 2050 emphasize on health, being fair, being wise, being happy. Money cannot bring everything. Even the richest person on this earth is not completely happy. Money is just our want, it's our desire. It cannot fulfill anything. It will only lead to lust and other things. Get that clear into your mind that only money is not the thing. It's not the only thing that can lead to happiness. It can bring services, it can bring development, but the vision here is we have to be smart, we have to be wise, we have to be fair, we have to be happy, and we have to be healthy. So what is the guarantee for LNG when we have other sectors in this country that we have money available, but yet we haven't seen development? So please, I encourage you all to come from my perspective and understand the point that we, the opposition, are coming from, that the LNG project is not the only driver for Papua New Guinea to be a smart, wise, fair, happy, and healthy society by 2050. Thank you.
Thank you. That was the final speaker of Bugandi Secondary School. Please, a round of applause to the two teams. Okay, so we're going to allow for question time now. Question time. Logical questions. One will be directed to the government side, one will be directed to the opposition side. Any questions from the audience? There won't be any statements. When you come up, you do not say, you said that, you said it. You're just going to ask a question and that's it. No personal attack. And we will not take schools that are up here. We'll take other schools, the 4 other schools that are not up here debating. And reminder to the audience, please don't distract our participants when they are debating. No negative discrimination or distraction from your audience, please. Any questions? Yes, one from Malang.
Thank you. If the affirmative say LNG project is the driver for the Vision 2050, then in order for the Vision 2050 to come about, we have to have honest and transparent leaders. That's the theme with the corrupt activities that has been happening nowadays, such as Caprice's case. Does the team think PNG has honest and transparent leaders in the parliament today? Thank you. Sorry. The affirmative. Anyone? No, anyone? If the affirmative say LNG project is the driver for the Vision 2050, then in order for Vision 2050 to come about, we have to have honest and transparent leaders. With the corruption activities that has been happening nowadays, such as Caprice's case, does the team think PNG has honest and transparent leaders today in the parliament?
Okay, nice question. Can I ask you a question? Have you done anything, I rephrase the question. Haven't you done anything wrong or bad in your life? Nobody's perfect, right? Well, corruption, I can say corruption, we cannot stop corruption, but we can minimize and we can reduce, and by reducing it, corruption will finally come to a stop. It all goes back down to you and I. Whatever little thing we do, it leads to corruption. We cannot just blame the people up there. You and I, whatever we do counts. So I'll say, let me put it this way. You and I will make this happen. If we want corruption, then we elect bad members, leaders up there. If we don't want corruption, then don't elect people that you know would bring corruption. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll have one more question directed to the opposition. Any question for the opposition? One guy at the back? Yeah? One question for the opposition, please. Give them the opportunity to speak to answer the question. Any question for the opposition? No question. Okay, young man in front, you can ask your question to the government. There's no question to the opposition, and if the participating schools are up here, they will not ask a question. But since none of you is asking a question, now we're accepting that. Judge's discretion, okay? Okay, audience, this question now is going to go to the government.
Good afternoon, everybody. My question directed to government up there. Prior to and after independence, BCL, Bougainville Cover Limited was able to support PNG with multi-millions of kina and enable other projects to develop throughout the country. Now, we have a copper mine, oil mine, gas mine, logging companies, agriculture, etc. have not helped PNG. Example, Oktedi, Fogera, Eden Mine. What is the guarantee that LNG can help achieve Vision 2050? That's the question. Prior to and after independence, BCL, Bougainville Cover Limited, was able to support PNG with multi-billions of kina and enable other projects to develop throughout the country. Now, we have copper mine, oil mine, gas mining, logging, etc. have not helped PNG. Example, Oktedi, Fogera, Eden Gold Mine. Okay, right now, what is the guarantee that LNG can help achieve Vision 2050?
just to answer your question, I would like to tell you that, mind you, of the total amount of money that are made by the government, as you said that Octary is not supporting, it's not contributing to government. Out of the total 9 to 8 billion, Octary gives 2 million to the government, 2 billion to the government. And you're saying that Octary is not supporting the government. But Octary is going to close soon. We need a driver that will produce large amounts of money. And this will be achieved through Vision 2050.
Thank you, Lay Secondary School. Now we're going to have judges' remarks. Judges' remarks for this session only, based on the two teams that have debated so far. So we'll have Mr. Iko to come and give the judges' remarks.
Thank you, MC. Thank you, participating schools, the participants, the general audience, Papua New Guinea, those who are listening to us by radio, and those who are watching by Kundutu TV. We want to let you know this is an exciting event, and the schools here in Morobe are participating in a very, very important topic and issue at hand in our nation. And I will very briefly tell you that it takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of courage, actually, a lot of confidence. And these young people, there is a guarantee, from today we can see, and you can feel confident that come 2050 or come 2020, come 2060, we have a guaranteed leadership of this country. And you look at these participants here, you look at these people, the schools that have actually participated, Buganda Secondary School, Lay Secondary School, you've done extremely well. You've done very well in there. I will not take this opportunity to criticize any, our political leaders or whoever is playing some leadership role in the country today. But for this occasion, I want to commend you. You've done extremely well, and the results will be pointed out later at the end of this session. But I want to commend you for time taken to do research, time taken to really put your case together. Just a few comments. It is very, very important for you all. I mean, this is the benefit to all of you participating schools. And those who are listening and other secondary schools who will be participating in the future. It is very, very important for the first speaker and the last speaker. You've got to hold the case. You've got to take ownership of the case. Look at the topic that is at hand that you are discussing. Be consistent, and you will take your other speakers through. So for that, it is just a word of encouragement. And those who are helping the coordinating schools, especially the teachers, the coordinators, you need to work on those areas. We will give you more detailed information on that later. But for now, congratulations, you've done very well, and hope you can do better next time. Thank you, MC.
Thank you, Mr. Iko. Ladies and gentlemen, please put a round of applause again to the two teams as they leave the stage. Lay Secondary School, we had Christopher Mivira, Robert Ari Jr., Ruben Tangapi, and Daphne Anget. Thank you, Lay Secondary School. Bugendi, we had Lina Asai, Stephen Philip, Maino Maika, and Mohana Nahuet. Thank you, Bugendi Secondary School.